Do you know that it takes a woman who has not delivered before about 18 hours to be in labor? Labor pain is not a joke, and it's definitely not for the weak. But the good news is that you can actually reduce your labor pain. If you are interested in this video, I would advise you watch this to the end as I educate you on ways in which you can reduce your labor pain. Hi, I'm Naki the midwife. If today is your first time coming across my video, I'm a professional midwife and I talk about issues on pregnancy, deliveries, babies, and family planning. In today's video, I'm coming to educate you on how to reduce your labor pain. First of all, what is labor? What are some of the signs that you see before labor and then when you are in labor? And how do you actually reduce this labor pain? Labor is a process whereby the fetus or the baby that is inside your womb, together with the placenta or the afterbirth, and the membranes in which the baby was lying, and then the fluid around the baby, all get expelled through the vagina after 37 completed weeks. Yes, that is labor. Meanwhile, before you get into labor, there are some signs that you need to see that would tell you that yes, you are almost due for labor or your baby is almost here. Now, the very first thing that will tell you that you are almost due for labor is what we call lightening. It's a big word, but I'm coming to explain. Lightening basically means that you're feeling light after some time, okay? Because as pregnancy advances, the pregnancy now compresses on your diaphragm and then some parts of your lungs. This makes it very difficult for the pregnant woman to breathe. That is when you see that the moment a pregnant woman walks small, she becomes very tired and starts panting for air. This is as a result of the uterus compressing on her diaphragm and then some parts of her lungs. So, the very first sign you see that you are almost due for labor or that baby is almost about to come is lightening. That is where the baby now descends into your pelvis. Then you start feeling so light, yes. But in this case, your walking becomes very difficult, yes. You start feeling pain anytime you are walking because the baby is now in your pelvis. But then your breathing now improves. That is the very first sign you see and you know that you are almost in labor. To the second sign, you urinating more often. At this point, the baby has descended into your pelvis, okay? And your bladder is also in your pelvis. Now, the baby and the bladder are competing for space. This reduces the capacity of your bladder to hold urine. Hence, you have the urge more often to urinate. So that is the very second sign you see that you are almost due for labor. Every now and then, you want to urinate. It's a sign that you are almost in labor. Nausea, constipation, or vomiting. Yes, these are rare signs you feel when you are almost in labor, but it does happen, okay, as a result of hormonal changes now that you are almost due for labor. One hormone's work is stopping and another one is stepping in. So you can actually have the urge to vomit, you can experience constipation, you can experience diarrhea when you are almost due for labor. Another sign is nesting instinct. What do I mean by nesting instinct? This is where the woman is just so happy that her baby is almost coming. So she becomes very much excited and wants to organize the room, want to buy baby stuff, want to buy toys in anticipation for this baby. Yes, the woman becomes so very much excited to receive this baby. It's also a sign that someone is almost due for labor. Yes, so those are some of the signs that you experience. And the very last sign you experience is what we call false labor. For this one, you start having contractions, but they are not regular and they are not really painful. And after some time, it stops. Yes, it doesn't continue because true labor doesn't stop until that baby is out. So that is it about the signs you experience before you get into labor. Now, when you get into labor, what are the real signs you see to know that, yes, my baby is almost here? The very first sign is when you have regular and painful contraction. regular and painful underlie, because like I said, you can have false labor. For this one, it's not regular, neither is it painful. But with a true labor, for that one, that is where you feel the pain. That is where you see women going through a lot of pain, yelling, shouting here and there, because they are in so much pain. That is labor pain. It becomes very regular, it's consistent, and it's very, very painful. That is the very first sign for you to know that you are almost due. Your baby is almost here. Then to the very second sign is what we call show. For this one, you have this very sticky and bloody discharge coming out of your vagina. Yes, this is a true sign that what? Baby is coming. Baby is almost at the vagina. For this particular one, once we see it, we know that you are truly, truly, truly in labor, and we admit you to the hospital. Then the very last sign you see, or that the midwife sees, for this particular one, you can't do it yourself. It's the midwife that will know that this one, you are in labor, is what we call the cervical dilatation. That is where your cervix starts opening. Or if you have delivered before, you will know that when you get to the hospital, the midwife comes and says that I'm coming to check if your uterus is opening. That is where they insert their fingers into your vagina to check whether you have dilated enough for the baby to come out. So for this one, it is the midwife that will know. You per se wouldn't know, okay? So those are the 3 signs you see anytime you are in labor. The first one is the contraction, the very painful and regular one. The second one is the show, the blood, and then the mucus coming. And then the third one is the cervical dilatation. So those are the signs of labor. So many women actually think that once they start feeling the pain and they get to the hospital, they should deliver. No, labor doesn't work that way. It's actually in stages, and you must complete the first stage before you go to the next stage, else your baby is not going to come out. So to the very first stage of labor, this is what we call the dilatation stage, okay? The very first stage of labor. At this point, that is where the cervix needs to dilate. Now, what do I mean by that? Your cervix is an organ that is found in between your uterus and then your vagina. Now, when you get into labor, this cervix has to open for the baby to be able to come out, enter your vagina, then into your vulva, that we receive the baby. If this cervix doesn't open, forget it. You are not going to deliver that baby unless by CS. Okay, so this is the very first stage, and it's very, very important. For a woman that has not delivered before, it takes about 12 hours for that woman to last during the first stage, because every 1 hour they are supposed to dilate at least 1 cm. Yes, but then we are ranging between 10 to 12 hours for you to finish dilating. For some women, it may even take longer than that. Okay, individual differences. But for a woman who has delivered before, between 6 to 8 hours, she's done dilating. But like I said, individual differences. Some people may dilate faster than that. Some may even go beyond that. So this is the first stage. The cervix has to finish dilating before the baby will be able to come out, from 1 cm to 10 cm. That is the dilatation for the cervix. Now, to the second stage, after the cervix has fully dilated, like I said, it will last from 1 to 10 cm before your baby can be able to come out. But the baby's head is about 9.5 cm. So the cervix has to dilate up to 10 cm. So to the second stage, that is where your cervix is fully dilated up to the 10 cm, and then baby is completely delivered. This is where the midwife comes in. For the dilatation period, we don't really do anything. It's all up to you and your body, okay? Even though we can aid in the process, we can give some medication that can help hasten the process, but it's all up to you and then your body. But to the second stage, that is where we come in and then we deliver your baby for you beautifully. So this is the second stage where the baby comes out. And in someone who has not delivered before, it can take up to 1 hour for that baby to come out. But someone who has delivered before, by 30 minutes time, the baby is out. It's always hard for the first timer, yes, because your body has not undergone that process before. The body is very new to that kind of thing, so it takes a longer period for someone who has not delivered before. But for someone who has delivered before, their body has already gone through that already. so it's kind of used to it and can be able to adjust to the situation easily. Now to the very last stage of labor, which is the third stage. That is where we deliver your placenta, or the afterbirth. Okay, is normally known as the afterbirth. It's called placenta in medical terms. So that is where we deliver your placenta, and we help to prevent bleeding during this stage. Some women after the delivery of the placenta tend to bleed a lot. So at this stage, we need to do everything for you not to bleed. That is the very last stage of labor. Okay, so like I said, labor has 3 stages and we exhausted those 3 stages. Now let's come to how you manage labor pain. When you come to the labor ward, that is where you really see how painful labor can be. That is where you see women shouting, yelling, angry, whatever it is. And then with some women, they can endure the pain. Some women don't even shout, but for some, oh my God, just prepare for war. You are just going to contend with them because the pain is so unbearable for them. Okay, so that is labor for you. Now, how do you reduce this labor pain? The labor pain is something that cannot be described, but you can actually reduce it. So the very first thing you can do to reduce your labor pain is what we call deep breathing exercise. For this particular one, we teach it right from antenatal so that you get used to it before you get into labor, because it helps a lot. So this is where we teach you the deep breathing exercise. Is how you do it. You breathe through your mouth and not through your nose. Okay, so it goes like this. Like that. Okay, when you are doing that, it's helping the baby also to breathe, and it's also helping you to reduce the pain. Okay, that is the very first thing that we do. Then the second one is sacral massage. That is why it's important that you have a support person when you are in labor, because labor is actually not easy, but the support person can actually help you with some of these things so that it can reduce your labor pain. So the second thing, like I said, is sacral massage. This is where your husband or the midwife actually massages your lower back for you gently. There's a nerve at your lower back that causes you to feel pain anytime you are in labor. So anytime we are massaging that area, the nerve doesn't really send signal to your brain to feel the pain. Okay, so it helps reduce the pain at this particular point. Then we have diversional therapy. This is where we try to take your attention off the pain by maybe conversing with you, or you watching movie, you watching TV, anything that will distract you from the pain. Okay, this also helps a lot. So mostly when you go to some of the labor wards, you see that there's a television there, so that when the women are in pain, we just on it for them. They are watching something that will take their mind off the pain. This actually also helps. To the fourth point, that is where we have the hydrotherapy. Okay, with this one, you can just get a bathtub, okay, and put in some cold or warm water, and then you sit inside. It really reduces the pain. But this one is actually done when you want a home delivery, because some of these things are not in some of the facilities. So it's mostly when you want to deliver at home. You can get your own bathtub, fill it with water, sit inside, it reduces the pain. So the very last thing you can do to reduce your labor pain is superficial heat and cold. With this one, you get a hot water bottle, and you can either fill it with hot water or cold water. You put on your abdomen. Voila! It helps reduces the pain a lot. So even though labor pain is inevitable and every woman will definitely experience it, especially if you want to have a vaginal delivery, it can actually be managed or be reduced. So those are some of the things that can help you reduce your labor pain. Now you know what labor is, you know some of the signs that you can experience before labor, and then some of the signs you experience when in labor, the stages of labor as well. If this video has actually helped you in any way, why not subscribe and share with someone, give it a thumbs up, and then tell us what you want to know about next in our comment section. See you in my next video. Bye for now.